Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday, August 5th. I'm John Weigell here with Martina, Bretous, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. July was another big month in AI. OpenAI pushed forward to offer GPT-4o Mini and started testing their own search engine, while we found out that YouTube has become a huge data center for AI models to train on. There's so much to unpack, and we're back this month with Martina, Bretous, the editor of HubSpot's Next in AI, to break it all down. We'll get to that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. Starting us off, Google removed an ad for Gemini in which a child uses the chatbot to write to U.S. Olympian Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone following backlash that it encouraged relying on AI over authenticity. Next, Airbnb Chief Business Officer Dave Stevenson may offer luxury amenities, for example, personal chefs, massages, and etc., to lure customers back from hotels. Good luck to him. Over to the gas industry, Chevron is moving its headquarters from San Ramon, California, where it's been since 2002, to Houston, Texas. Another one on the long list of things moving from California to Texas, including lots of people. Next, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sold 49% of its $84.2 billion Apple stake last quarter. Apple remains Berkshire Hathaway's largest stake and ups the conglomerate's cash pile to, get this, $277 billion. That's a lot. And finally, the godfather of Corvettes, Taj Jukhtar, retired after 47 years at General Motors. He'll be leaving a lasting mark, quite literally, with a silhouette of his head etched into all 2025 Corvettes. So if you're picking up a Corvette this year or next year, look for Taj. Okay, it's the first Monday of the month. You know what that means. So we're back with Martina for another AI update. Welcome back, Martina. Great to have you.
Hey, John. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you back yet again. I'll start off with the first question here. Are there any big updates this past month in AI that surprised you?
So this month, nothing surprised me, but I just love when a rumor becomes true. We've been speculating about OpenAI's search engine for a while now. Sam Altman denied that it was even happening, and now it's all come true.
Yeah, that is actually a great segue because I did want to ask about SearchGPT because yes, Sam Altman has been denying that for a while. And then, of course, it came out that they're testing this search engine, a fully AI search engine in the ChatGPT universe. What do you make of the search landscape right now with OpenAI kind of entering the fold? They're kind of the hot new tech company that's become one of the big 5 or big 10 in Silicon Valley, with companies like Perplexity, one that you know very well, Bing and Google's Gemini as their competitors.
Yeah, so I actually interviewed a few SEO experts at HubSpot to kind of get their take on this. And it was pretty mixed in terms of opinions. I know one SEO expert thought that this is more of a branding exercise for OpenAI. They're just trying to kind of level the playing field with the other players in the space and say, hey, we do AI, but we do AI everywhere. So watch out for us. A content marketer that I spoke to was saying how these new AI-powered search engines are really changing how content marketing is being done in terms of content creation. She said that now, herself as a content creator, instead of thinking of search as a channel, she's thinking of search more as a behavior. So she talked about how AI chatbots are really great at answering simple, kind of top of the funnel questions, but websites are still needed for deep dives. And so now they're focusing more on diversifying their formats to meet searchers' needs, in their favorite way. So it was pretty interesting to hear.
Yeah, it is fascinating. Do you think that AI search is kind of gaining a lot more traction as of late? I know from personal experience now when I Google anything, I just get the Gemini screen that just says, is this what you were looking for? And just explains everything to me. And sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's right. But what are your views on AI search?
I think it's definitely gaining some steam, but I do think that in the beginning, it had a little bit of a bad reputation. And I think it's hard to get past that because whenever we hear of AI, we hear of hallucinations. And so we don't fully trust the answers that AI is giving us. So I do think it's gaining steam, especially now that OpenAI is a player in this space. But I just don't know if people fully trust it yet. I think most of us are still clicking on the websites on the bottom.
Yeah, I for one am definitely clicking on the websites for sure.
Yeah.
And kind of diving deeper into some OpenAI updates this past month, because I feel like this past month was really dominated by a lot of updates there. We also heard that Microsoft gave up their observer seat on the OpenAI board. What do you think that means for the company going forward?
So a few things come to mind. So the first is that I think it's a sign that Microsoft has full confidence in Sam Altman's place at OpenAI. We know last year there was all the hoopla
Oh,
around
yeah.
Sam Altman when he was being ousted. And I think they gained the seat, the observer seat, so they can keep an eye on things and see, hey, what's the general sentiment around him? Can we expect something like that to happen again? And I think now that they've pulled out, I think it may be a sign that they have full confidence in where things are headed and how the board is currently structured. But on a bigger piece, I think that big tech has been under a microscope, right, from regulators because of their investments in AI startups.
Mhm.
The FTC recently opened an investigation into Microsoft because of antitrust concerns. And so Microsoft giving up their seat to me is saying, hey, look, we're actually not that involved in OpenAI's business. We're just here to collaborate with them and back off us because we're not that involved. So I think it's a pretty interesting update.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like they should move off that board for antitrust reasons. But there's also some other stuff here because when you were talking about how that Sam Altman ousting problem that happened late last year, right? He's back on the board now, of course. Microsoft ensured that he got back on the board and have kind of viewed it since. And the original division that was on OpenAI and the problem there was between Sam Altman, who wanted to push forward with AI technology, and people around him who were a little more tepid about
Right.
going forward and kind of a little more concerned about the dangers of AI. We just kind of heard this past month as well that Apple and 15 other companies, but most recently Apple, signed a commitment to the White House's ground rules for developing generative AI. And I guess with all these companies, OpenAI included, Microsoft included, dedicating themselves to safety, does that mean a whole lot to you or not really?
To me, not much. I think it's more symbolic than anything. I think it's an agreement, but the government really hasn't laid out any specific guidelines or consequences for not respecting this agreement. And so I think it's just a show of participation. It's really more symbolic than anything else. I don't have that much confidence, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, this document was officially signed by a lot of these companies in July of last year, and there have been quite a bit of safety breaches in the past year.
To say the least.
So Apple signing onto this recently is just kind of a bit of a jumping on the bandwagon type deal. But I mean, I'll believe it when I see it, I guess, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're on the same page on that.
Okay, good. Also, another big story, kind of speaking about Apple, NVIDIA, and Anthropic, it came out that these companies have been using YouTube videos to train AI, most notably YouTube videos from MKBHD, Marcus Brownlee, and also Mr. Beast, very, very popular YouTubers, obviously, to train their AI. And all of that is, of course, against YouTube's platform rules. What are your thoughts on this whole AI training debacle?
My thing is, we already knew they were doing it. This is no surprise. AI companies are notoriously vague about their training data. So this news coming out is just reconfirming what we already knew. Now, diving into some of the ramifications of this, I think creators and artists are right to be scared. They feel like it's an exploitation of their work that's now going to be replicated and regurgitated by these AI models. So if I was them, I would definitely be pushing back on this.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like a big no-no
Huge.
to kind of breach into these creators without their consent, without the platform's consent even, to kind of take these things in order to learn their AI systems. Because, I mean, they're accessing over 48,000 channels for this information.
Absolutely
And
wild.
this kind of creates an unfortunate end of the scope where maybe this could become some sort of AI YouTube platform where everything is automated and there's no original ideas. So I don't exactly know what they're using these YouTube videos for, unless they want to make a video about being trapped on an island for $12 million from Mr. Beast. But,
Right.
but I'd be interested to see what they're actually using these for to enhance their AI, I guess.
It'll be very, very interesting to see where this takes us. But I just feel bad for the creators and all the artists who put so much work into this. And then, later down the line to see their work like, hey, wait, that's mine, or that sounds like me. Ugh, that sucks.
Yeah, that's really, really crazy. And lastly, going to Meta, another big company in this space, a rollout of its AI studio for US creators to build AI chatbots actually just came out. What does something like this mean for us going forward?
Yeah, so this rollout actually reminded me of OpenAI's custom GPTs. And I think for content creators, it's obviously a great opportunity for them to leverage AI for content creation, but also social engagement. And I think it can work really well depending on the audience and the type of content that they create. But with AI, of course, there's always a risk to brand safety, which creators are going to have to consider if they're going to use something like this.
Yeah, totally. It definitely a risk to brand safety. I mean, that's kind of the first thing I thought with this whole thing is using the meta AI to do some nefarious things, right? Because we've seen AI used like that very recently in the past, even probably it's happening right now. So kind of a bold move, but understandable, I guess, because Meta's been integrating AI into all of its search functions, basically. Like you don't even have a search bar anymore on
Everything.
Facebook, from what I'm told. It's just like an AI powered thing.
Even on WhatsApp, I can't go into WhatsApp without the AI bot. I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm here to speak to my family. Please get out of here. Like, leave it for the social platforms.
All right, I'm here to spam some memes in the group chat. I do not need you crowding me right now.
I'm here to receive like frightening news from my parents that was actually published 15 years ago about something that's happening on the internet. So I'm not here for AI.
Exactly. On my end, at least on the Meta platforms, I haven't seen any kind of result of this yet, but I honestly dread seeing it. I really just don't know what it's going to be used for.
I know creators are able to set some parameters around what questions people can ask them, what the AI chatbot can answer. So in some ways, they're trying to protect themselves, but it'll be very interesting to see because I could see it working out well for some people, but I definitely envision some horror stories coming out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And of course, we'll dig all those up here
next month.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Martina. It's been a pleasure talking to you once again this month. And, we'll see you come September.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show, everybody. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get signed up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you tomorrow.